Hey Todd, what's the best kind of fuel to use on the Great River Road?
Premium unleaded.
No.
Okay.
Made rights and root beer.
Oh, yeah.
Our goal at Best Motorcycle Roads is to make your next motorcycle trip the best it can be. So some of the best roads out there, Todd, are really not that famous. So you kind of came up with an idea for Midwest hidden gems for roads. So we thought, why not do a 6-part series? We'll do one on every state we cover. So Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, what am I forgetting? Minnesota and Michigan. Thank you. So this road, the bottom line really is we can find some great little nugget roads around, and there's some Midwest hidden gems, and we're going to highlight some from Galena to Peru today with looking at Illinois.
Yeah. And as we're looking at these, we're not thinking of combining these all into a single route. These are, if you're in the area, make sure you hit this road. If you're in this area, make sure you hit this road. Yeah.
So we kind of dug around and found some smaller rides. So yeah, like you said, you could make it a day ride if you're in the area. You can add it on to a ride if you're going to be around and maybe want to, or just wing it, right?
Yeah.
So 7 rides from Illinois. The first one we're calling Blackjack Road. So that's about Galena to Savanna.
Yeah.
So it's basically starting up in Savanna on US 20 and ending down in Savanna. 28 miles or so there. We're estimating about 45 minutes. So if you take Blackjack Road loop from Galena, basically it's this is really like twisty roads, valleys, ridge views. It's right along in the Great River Road and Driftless area, all areas we just love.
Yeah.
And depending on what you want to see in Galena, one of the things I know that a lot of people like is the Desoto House Hotel. It's an old 1855, when we did our research, Illinois' oldest operating hotel.
Yeah.
And some of the cool old guests that we found have stayed there is Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really cool.
And then part of the magic of Blackjack Road really is the mining route. Like it kind of gets its name from the oak trees, the blackjack oak trees. But then it's really a mining path that was pretty common use early 1800s between the lead mines that they would take and the ports, the river ports.
Oh, okay.
So then another stop just off of Blackjack Road is Hanover, Illinois. They have a kind of a state park area. We've talked about this in some of the Driftless talks, but has some of the most unique plant and species around, and this is one of those areas. And then down to Savanna, which we've talked a lot about too.
Yeah.
So, and you found some great places to eat along the way.
Yeah. So in Galena, the fried green tomatoes, they're known for their steak and their seafood and lasagna, and they have just a really large wine list. It's just a real classic restaurant. The locals, like it.
Yeah.
Visitors like it. So, yeah, that's a good one. And then about halfway between Galena and Savanna, I'd recommend Woodland Wonderland.
Okay.
It's kind of a country deli store, but they've got sandwiches and snacks and.
We can go today.
Could still go today, and coffee.
Okay.
That's a great one. And then, of course, if you're in Savanna, you have to go to Poopies, right?
Right.
Poopies Pub, just kind of the comfort food. It's a kind of a live vibe. It's a lot of outdoor seating, and they have music outside.
Well, you didn't go there for breakfast, but they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, it's you kind of order, and then they kind of buzz you up. You go grab it, and then there's plenty of places to eat all around.
Yeah, picnic tables and that kind of stuff. It's a great place.
It is good. So the second one that we found was called Stagecoach Trail, and actually we've been on this before. I don't know if you remember. This goes from Lena to Galena. It's called the Stagecoach Trail. Very curvy, hilly, 2-lane road. Again, early 1800s, across, and kind of a lot of history around the area. So it's about 40 miles long, 1 hour or so. Places to stop. There's a place called Wams Grove near Lena, and I didn't know about this one at all, and I don't think we've ever stopped there, but it's a historical marker, and apparently the site of the Battle of Wams Grove, 1832, that would have been an Indian war with the Black Hawk War, they called it, a state historical marker. It's an early conflict between U.S. forces and the Sauk leader Blackhawk. So that was really interesting. Illinois is rich with American Indian history, and so this is one of those areas.
Yeah.
Another place is Apple River Canyon State Park, and then there's a River Fort State Historic Site, and this is Elizabeth, Illinois. So again, right in that area, also many skirmishes or fights with Black Hawk, and that was one that actually I think was right in near the Apple River. So that's kind of interesting. We didn't talk too much about some of the other things in Galena, but U.S. Grant, there's a U.S. Grant's home. It's a historical site. He was gifted a home in Galena after the Civil War, Ulysses S. Grant. There's an oldest standing home called the Dowling House that was built in 1826. And then one more old market house, 1845. And that apparently served kind of as like the town center, market, civic center, and now as a museum. So those kind of things are there. And of course, in that area is just full of apple orchards.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the fall.
Right.
It's a great place to stop. Cider, apples.
Yeah.
You name
Pies.
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, pies. So the third stop, or the third
road
nugget, hidden gem, right,
Yep.
is called Rock River Run. So this is Rockford, Illinois to Dixon. And I think we told about this one of our last episodes. Someone had mentioned to add this one.
Yeah.
And so this is along Highway 2. Rockford has some interesting places. The Midway Village Museum, and it's kind of a Victorian village, I guess. Talks a lot about Rockford's heritage. Apparently, Rockford was known for furniture manufacturing, and I didn't know that. And then Rockford peaches.
Oh.
Not one you eat, but this was an old women's baseball team.
Oh. Yes,
Yeah.
that of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. And then also in an 1865 Gothic home called the Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. But a lot of Victorian architecture, Victorian life, and then also one more they call the Ethnic Heritage Museum. They've kind of got a setup with 6 different rooms representing different groups that have been around in the Rockford area. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then as you leave Rockford and you head south, it's very scenic route that goes along that river, the Rock River. And once that area was very, again, Native American trail used a lot. So I'm sure that's where that road was kind of carved from. But there's the Castle Rock State Park, which is a lot of sandstone bluffs.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
that's around Oregon and Illinois, I think, right?
Yep. And then also there, they actually have a statue of Black Hawk. And so in 1911, Laredo Taft built a 48-foot concrete statue to kind of honor Black Hawk. So that's right at the Rock River in Loudon State Park. So that's kind of a cool thing to stop, an opportunity to kind of get off the bike and ride around. And then as you get to Dixon, that's of course the home of Ronald Reagan, his boyhood home. He lived there from 9 to 22. And in Dixon was kind of something that you used to see in a lot of towns, but they had a welcome arch at the edge of town. And so it's one of the last remaining ones that they have in Illinois. It's over Galena Avenue there. And then the last one was Dixon's Soldier Monument, an 1871 memorial. And because this area was very rich in the Civil War. I mean, there's a lot going on in the Civil War. We'll talk a lot about that in these different podcasts with the series, because also Missouri really heavy into that. So we'll talk about that on the next one. But one of the oldest war monuments in northern Illinois is the Dixon's Soldier Monument. So.
Wow. In this total mileage from Rockford to Dixon, what is it, 42 miles?
It's not very far,
like
40, 42 miles.
So
it's an easy drive.
Hour
if you're
or
in
something,
that neighborhood, and it's kind of pretty nice. Beats 88 and the 39 is in that area too.
I ran out of gas once on 88 on my motorcycle.
Near Dixon.
It was near Dixon.
Yeah.
I had to get a ride to Dixon.
So what about, did you find us a place to eat in this one?
Absolutely. In Dixon, you have to go to the Basil Tree Restaurant.
Okay.
It's a top-rated Italian restaurant in the historic area of Dixon. Pastas, it's just really great for sit-down dinners or lunches, late lunches. And it gets like 4.5 out of 5-star rating. So yeah, absolutely. Basil Tree.
Place to stop.
Yep.
Number 4 is our Illinois River Road Scenic Byway. This is between Ottawa and Havana, about 100 miles, so think 2.5, 3 hours of time. And then some of the places that we would recommend to stop there was, this is called kind of the Illinois River Road National Scenic Byway. So, kind of like a Great River Road has that designation. This is one of the Illinois roads.
Yeah.
But in Ottawa, interesting, the very first Lincoln-Douglas debate happened in 1858.
Wow, yeah.
So that's kind of neat. And then they have an 1850s home that's called the John Hosick House. And that was a station on the Underground Railroad. And then kind of right nearby, they have the Reddick Mansion, which is also a place where once escaped slaves, they kind of were able to stay there, which now that's a museum. So that's kind of some neat culture.
Yeah.
Also, the Starved Rock State Park. Again, more sandstone bluffs, waterfalls, and some hikes if you're into that. And then they have some landmarks linking to Native American.
Yeah,
and also French colonial history, too. A lot of French in this area, which we'll talk about more. So
Yeah, I've been to Starved Rock.
Yeah.
It's a good park, yeah.
LaSalle has Illinois and Michigan canal heritage. There's like canals there, so you can take a mule-towed canal boat ride. Yeah, which was kind of wild. And then
Cool.
Not too far in Princeton, they actually have a covered bridge. One of Illinois' very few covered bridges that are even still in existence. That was built in 1863 over Big Bureau Creek.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. We have in Peoria and Pekin. It's kind of it's called the Grandview Drive. Very short, 2.5 mile long, but from Teddy Roosevelt, he dubbed it the most beautiful drive. So it's a very cool looking ride, I think, especially if you were there in the fall.
Yeah.
And then in Havana, there's one really interesting thing. It's called the Rockwell Mound, and they don't really know what it was used for, but it's an 1800-year-old earthen mound in a place called Rockwell Park. So it's like 2 acres and about 12 feet tall.
Wow.
And they're not sure why it was built, but again, it was built around 150 AD. And they know the civilization of that area were mound builders. They don't really know why, but so that was very interesting as well, I thought, if you're in that area. So
Yeah.
you found some eats.
Yeah, so if you're in Ottawa, Illinois, the Red Dog Grill.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's right on Heritage Harbor, so you can kind of sit by the water.
Nice.
Burgers, quesadillas, pretzels, sushi, even steak salads.
That's a combo.
That's quite a combo. It's a laid back patio vibe. Occasionally they have live music.
That's cool.
It's just really great for relaxing and have some appetizers, have some drinks. Yeah,
Nice.
that's a great one. And then in Havana, Illinois, Babes on Plum. It's a local favorite in Havana. Friendly service, down-home neighborhood feel, and just, again, a nice place to unwind after your ride. And it's right in town. Yeah.
Some of these places is nice when they're like on a dock side.
Yes.
Or something like that, because we've noted that's a great place like we like to end the day at, because then we can kind of chill and it seems like we always strike up conversations with people, and then there's always something that kind of works out. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, exactly.
so then our fifth pick for hidden gems in Illinois is maybe not quite so hidden, but I think some of the things we'll talk about is hidden. But it's the Great River Road between Alton and Hardin. So this is about a 37-mile ride. Call it 45 minutes drive. So if we think about places in Alton, Illinois to stop, they have a Lincoln and Civil War Legacy Trail. So walkable trails that have highlights to Lincoln era history, because of course Lincoln was from Illinois there. And then they had one that they called the Elijah P. Lovejoy Monument. It's commemorating the abolitionists. He was a newspaper editor that was killed, kind of defending his freedom of press.
Oh, yeah.
And around the pre-Civil War history. So it's kind of known for that, kind of in that publishing area. And then there's actually a prison site in Alton. There's not, the actual prison isn't there anymore, but it was, there's ruins there from the Civil War area prison. And they actually held Confederate POWs in that area.
Oh,
so
wow.
that'd be kind of interesting as well. And then the Robert Waldo statue. And you know him, don't you?
I don't.
I'd never heard of him before either.
Wadlow, not
I'm sorry,
Waldo.
Wadlow. Again, in Alton, life-size bronze statue of the tallest man. So 8 feet 11 inches tall. as how tall he was when he passed away in 1840. So they've got a life-sized statue there. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking photo.
That's a
Thinking
great photo
stop.
op. Was he in the Guinness book? I'm trying to remember if
Probably.
that's the one.
I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sure, but
That's
I thought
cool.
that was pretty cool. In Elsa, Illinois, is Farley's Music Hall. It was built in the 1880s and kind of served as a social center, which may be an interesting place if you're into music and things of that nature. Grafton, Illinois, has the Marquette State Park. There's a cool stone lodge, and kind of what we found over this Midwest Hidden Gems is we're going to talk a lot about the CCC, or the Civilian Conservation Corps, and that's was around in the 30s, after the Depression, after the First World War. That was what they used to kind of, when people were coming back, to give them a job to do. So a lot of areas like this, Marquette State Park, men came back and then they started building these parks. So
Oh yeah.
I think you'll see a lot of that if you've been to some of these older parks. You kind of see the same stonework, and there's a lot of that in this area and
I'll say we have it in Iowa for sure. Yeah.
If you think of, there's a ferry actually called Brussels Ferry that you get to when you get around Calhoun County, and then it'll take you right over the river into apple orchard country there too. So, and then Hardin, Illinois is kind of where we ended up. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, you had some places to eat at Hardin when you got done with that. Right?
Right. Yeah, the Illinois River Rock Restaurant. It's just south of the Joe Page Bridge, and it's popular for smoked meats, fresh fish, burgers, brisket, homemade desserts, and they even have pizza there. They've been around since like 1993.
Oh wow.
And they actually offer dockside service, drive-up service. So that's cool. They're closed on Tuesday, but
Don't go on Tuesday.
don't go there. But yeah, that's perfect for like a laid-back lunch or dinner, riverfront view, sit back and just watch the boats.
I love it.
Yeah, I like that whole boat dock access,
Yeah.
drive-up type thing. And in Hardin, Illinois, the Barefoot Restaurant. That's located on Water Street. It's got a patio overlooking the Illinois River and Joe Page Bridge.
Okay.
It's comfort food, fried chicken, fried fish, that kind of stuff. And they're closed on Mondays, so,
You'll be all right.
make sure you plan. That's right. Good stuff.
So number 6, we talk about the Savanna Scenic Ridge area, Mississippi Palisades area as well. It's kind of like a loop. So they've got like a 19-mile loop, 40-minute ride. But in the Mississippi Palisades State Park, there's some Native American rock and art mounds, like a lot of mounds in that area. Many sites contain the effigy mounds and rock shelters used by the indigenous peoples in that area.
Yeah.
Savannah has an interesting place called the Haven Crest Castle. So this is what you might think of as an old castle. Well, it was actually started in the 1970s.
Oh.
Someone started building a castle, I guess. They were inspired by European castles and decided they wanted to do that. And then the bridge. I mean, we've rode over the original bridge, but the original Savannah Sebula Bridge was built in 1932, connected them, and that was originally the metal grate floor.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they had a great way to remove like snow mostly. So you started to see that. That was interesting always to ride over. But now there's just north of that, and it's the new Dale Gardner Veterans Memorial Bridge in 2017.
Yep.
But you can kind of see the area back where the other bridge used to be when you cross over there. And then, I guess this is it doesn't really have food, so I put this one in there, not to rain on your food parade, Todd, but the Iron Horse Social Club in downtown Savannah, we've talked about that a number of times, but it's an old 1896 building that's now bar/motorcycle museum.
Yeah.
3 floors, great place to stop in, and it's cool vibe.
It is cool. They even have weddings on like the second or third floor.
Yeah.
They've got like a little
really wild.
chapel set up.
Yeah, like they took a church like area
stained
and built
glass
it in.
windows up there. And I think the first time we went in there, we thought we were going to be able to get a burger and a beer.
I did, for sure.
Yeah, just a bar only.
And then 2 more things about rail and military history right there. They have an old Chicago, Burlington, Quincy Railroad Depot. So they have a historic depot there. It's kind of just talks about how Savannah was really a hub in the Midwest of rail shipping because of the river and then the rails. So it's just kind of where everything came together. And then also there's the Savannah Army Depot. On the south side of town, it was a major World War II area munitions plant. So this area between Savannah and the Quad Cities, very heavy into munitions. And I assume that has a lot to do with the railroad traffic. So they could get, supplies and things around the U.S. in pretty quick fashion
Yeah.
at that time. So
Neat.
you found some food for us.
Yeah, so one of the favorites is Manny's Pizza. I think there's
do
more
like
than
pizza.
there's more than one location, but it's locally owned. That dine in, they've got a full bar, but they're really known for pizza. Well, it's pizzas and Tex-Mex,
Oh, wow.
So, but they have great appetizers. Cheese balls, jalapeno poppers, mini tacos, boneless wings. That's
All that jazz.
sort of thing, and salads, all kinds of salads, including taco salad. And then they have deals too on Tuesday nights, Taco Tuesday, Friday margaritas. They do have buffet nights. They have family combos. They have a wing night. So Manny's Pizza is a great one. Of course, we've already mentioned Poopies. But then the other one I want to mention is the Savanna Marina Cafe.
Okay.
It's located right on the river. And again, it's like cafe style food with river views, and you can just kind of sit back and watch the boats go by and,
that's cool.
and enjoy your meal. I like Savannah, yeah.
Yeah. And the seventh one, all roads lead to Savannah, Todd, but this one is it's kind of from Lowell Park Road is what we're calling it, but it's like Dixon to Savannah, but it kind of goes north first. About 65 miles, hour and a half or so. So if you kind of start in Dixon on the north side, there's a 200-acre park there called Lowell Park. Ronald Reagan actually worked there as a lifeguard actually in the 1930s.
Oh, wow.
And as it says, there's a marker that kind of says he was credited with saving 77 lives. So that's kind of cool. And then in town too, a 1901 building with a clock tower, so another photo op at the old Lee County Courthouse. So you don't see too many clock towers anymore, so that'd be cool.
Yeah.
If you go north up to Mount Morris out of Dixon, they have a 1915 band shell where they still have a lot of events. So that might be kind of something interesting. And then of course, we're coming back into Savannah. So we've got we've talked about the Savannahs. So yeah. So 7 kind of hidden gems that you could find in and around Illinois. This is a section we call the toolkit. We share motorcycle gear review, and other riding tips. And so that kind of takes us into the toolkit. I mean, when riding in Illinois, it's always good to have clean windshields. In the evenings and the stuff, you're by the river, so you're always getting bugs. So maybe just a good cleaner spray that we've talked about enough. It gets muggy in these areas. We talk about neck gaiters there. Maybe even like the tire kits. We've talked about those enough.
Yeah. The neck gaiter is one. I've got one that you kind of soak in water and then wring it out real good and just wrap it around your neck.
Yeah.
Those really work. I mean, they just kind of help evaporate, over a couple hours. They're nice. Yeah, I like that.
I used one on our last ride, and it was nice also when it was cool.
Yeah.
And I pulled it up over my chin.
Yours was, you didn't have the wet style. Yeah.
No,
you were
but
just,
I think you could have wet it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Like I didn't wet it, but
mine is kind of a, what do you call those? Like a
microfiber?
It's not even a microfiber. It's you use them for like drying things off, and it's like chamois. Chamois is what I was trying to come up with. Kind of a sham wow, I guess.
Wow. I was wowed that you remembered it. What I liked about it, though, is when it was cool, it was nice. Even when it was hot, it was nice because I just wasn't getting, I don't know. I liked it. I used it a lot.
Yeah.
And then we always recommend the portable chargers. Those are just always good.
Yeah, the power bank, have that with you. Yep.
And then every time we pretty much talk about body armor now because you and I just love it. I don't want to ride without it. We both have the full undersuit. And it just gives you the freedom to wear whatever you want on the outside. And then I've also got, for my day rides, I just snagged another one of the armored kind of a flannel jacket that if I'm just running around, then I can throw that on.
Yeah.
I really like about their coat and it's Kevlar. So like you start, I mean, everyone's not, if you're not wearing anything, just get something, right? But if you start to wear some of the more, then you kind of keep going up, and now it's like, gosh, if I do fall off, I'll be fine with the armor. But now, what if something tried to stick me? It's like,
right.
So
yeah.
So yeah, we're big fans of Bond. Call Kristen, she'll hook you up. It's always a good thing. So
very good.
Yeah. So if you like the podcast today, please like it, subscribe to it, or sign up for our BMR Rider Alerts. It's our way of kind of keeping you in the loop. And as always, no spam.
Keep the spirit of adventure alive, and remember, bikes, friends, and endless roads, the stories ride forever. Take care.